right, guys, so for this next page, we are going to be talking about how to write the equation of the exponential of these exponential equations. And so, guys, we're going to write this. And so remember, our equation that we can use for that is y equals a times b to the x power. And guys, your a value, so this is what we're going to use to write our equation. That a value is the y-intercept, or that initial value. And then, guys, your b value is that growth or decay factor. So what it's what you're doing to multiply to get to the next one. And so how you can find this is you can do y2 over y1. You can divide y2, you can say y2 divided by y1, and that will give you that factor by which you are multiplying. And so we can do this. So guys, on this next page here, we are going to write our equations. We have to find our a and then find our b. So guys, in this case, your a is your y-intercept. So 0, 27. That is going to be my y-intercept here. So your a is equal to 27, which is fantastic. And then, guys, if we want to find our b value, we do y2 over y1. So I'm just going to pick the top two here. So I'm going to say that is 9 divided by 3. And 9 divided by 3 gives me 3. So, guys, that means that my b is equal to 3. And so if we have an a and we have a b, then we can write our equation here. Now, first of all, guys, because b is greater than 1, we know that this is going to be growth. That also makes sense when you look at your table going up 3, 9, 27, 81, 243. We are growing. So, guys, we can say y is equal to 27 times 3 to the x power. So, guys, this would be my equation right here. And I highly, highly recommend what I would do next is I would go ahead and type in the equation that you came up with, y equals 27 times 3 to the x, and check your table and make sure they actually match here. 3, 9, 27, 81, 42, 43. Excellent. So, guys, and then what I want you to notice as well is that b value, guys, that is what we are multiplying by every time. We are multiplying by 3 to get to the next value. So, guys, that b value is that growth factor because we're multiplying by 3 every time. Excellent. Oops. And then, guys, I'm going to jump down here to talk about this next one. Okay, first of all, if we just look at the table, we notice that our values are getting smaller, which means that it should be decay. But before we move on, we're going to take a look at this, and we are going to start with our y-intercept. Let's see if we can find our y-intercept. So that is 0, 1. So, guys, my a value is equal to 1. Next up, we want to find our b value. So you do the y2 divided by y1, which is going to be 1 divided by 5, or just 1/5. All right, guys, so that would be 1 over 5. Excellent. So my b value is 1 divided by 5, and that means that it is smaller than 1. So we are dealing with decay. And, guys, the equation would be y equals 1 times, let's see here, 1/5 to the x power. You could also simply write this as y equals 1/5 to the x. You can drop the 1. So you can write it either way here with that 1/5. Oops, I forgot to put it in purple. That 1/5 to the x. And, guys, you notice that every single time we are multiplying by 1/5 to get to the next value on our table. If I did 5 times 1/5, oops, there we go, 5 times 1/5, then y'all, that would give me a 1, and then 1 times 1/5 gives me a 1/5, and 1/5, 1/5 times 1/5 gives me that 1/25. All right, guys, so we are multiplying by 1/5 each time. And then my recommendation is to also go ahead and put this in the calculator. You can do it with the flat fraction or the fancy fraction. Oh, I should have deleted all that stuff. So it's just 1/5 to the x, because that's what we got as our equation. I'm going to type it in, and I'm going to check my values here. We have 5, 1, 1/5, 1/25. So yay, my values match, so I know that I am correct. All right, guys, so that is a very awesome way to do this. Another way, and then guys, so let's take a look at this one right here. We're going to go to top right. So guys, here, what do we notice right away? There is no y-intercept. Your x does not equal to 0. So guys, I'm kind of sad because there is no 0 on here, so I'm going to kind of see what we can do to create one. All right, guys, so I'm a little sad we don't know what our y-intercept is yet. So let's see if we can figure out our b. Our b is y2 over y1, which would be 3,125 over 625. And that should give us 5. I'll double check it. 3,125 divided by 625. Yes, it does. So guys, my b value is 5, which means that it is growth. That also makes sense if you're looking at your table. The numbers are all getting bigger. So guys, that means we are multiplying by 5 each time to get there. So if I want to go backwards to find my y-intercept, then I would need to divide by 5. So I would sit here and say, okay, 625 divided by 5 gives me 125. So you can kind of work backwards to find your y-intercept there of 125. And now we can also see, yay, 125 times 5, that does give us that 625. So guys, now that we have that here, we can look at this. And you guys remember, you can write your equation as y equals. You can also write your equation as f of x equals. And f of x is equal to 125 times 5 to the x power. If you forget your x exponent, it is wrong. So don't forget your little x exponent. So you can write it as y equals or f of x equals. And guys, because those numbers are so big, I am going to go ahead and double check that in my calculator. I'm going to say 125 times 5 to the x. I'm going to check my table. And yep, we are at 125 for 0. 625 for 1, 3125, 15625, 78125. So my tables match, so I know that it's correct. All right, guys, so you can always put it in your calculator to check your table. Guys, you can also use your calculator for other things too. You can use it, I'll show you guys this little trick here, okay? So guys, for this particular one, we notice that our numbers are getting smaller, so it should be decay, but let's see what it is when we get our b value here. All right, so guys, my b value is y2 over y1, which gives me 0.3125 over 1.25. So when we do that, 0.3125 divided by 1.25, and guys, that gives me 0.25, or if we wanted to turn that into a fraction, that would be our 1/4. So guys, my b value is 1/4. And yes, it is smaller than 1, which means that it is decay. So now in order to find our a value, we're going to need to go backwards. I'm going to go backwards 1. And so guys, we were multiplying by 1/4 each time to get to the next one. So if we want to go backwards, then we need to divide by 1/4. So guys, I'm going to take my 1.25 and I'm going to divide it by the 1/4, and that gives me a value of 5. So guys, that means if we kind of moved backwards to find our y-intercept on the table, then we would have an a value of 5, which means that my equation is y equals 5 times 1/4 to the x power. And then guys, we can type that into our calculator here. So I'm going to clear it up. 5 times 1/4 to the x power. And guys, when we do that, we can check our tables, make sure they match. Starting at 1, oof, I did something wrong, didn't I? No, 5 times 1/4 to the x. Okay, so let's see here. So at 1, it is 5/4, 5/16. Oh, so they're in decimal form, that's why. All right, I'm going to change that to a flat fraction, so my decimals, I can get decimals in my table. So you guys notice I went from a fancy fraction to a flat fraction. Now we have 1.25, 0.3125, 0.0781. Yay, now my decimals match perfectly. Now, guys, so that is the way where you can check yourself and make sure that it's good. Another thing that you can do with these guys is you can use stat. So guys, if you want to use stat, you can. Guys, if you ever have a table, you can use stat, all right? And so you can say 1, 2, 3, 4, just like we did with linear functions, 1.25, 0.3125, 0.078125, and 0.01953125. All right, so it doesn't show them all, but you do want to put them all in there. And then, guys, when we go to stat this time, instead of calculating linear regression, we would scroll all the way down until 0 for exponential regression. Guys, when you calculate exponential regression, it gives you your a and your b value in the exponential equation. So right there we see that our a is 5 and our b is 0.25, which we can convert easily into a fraction to get that 1/4. So guys, you can also use stat. All right, guys, so I'm going to put this up down here at the bottom, is that you can check in the calculator, or you can use stat. But when you use stat, you need to make sure that you choose that exponential regression instead of linear regression. So you can always use stat. And guys, it works for all of them, which is really, really cool. I'll show you guys how we can do it one more time with this one up here. So if we went stat edit, I'm going to type in 1, 2, 3, 4 again. Awesome. Clear this list. 6, 25, 3, 1, 2, 5, 1, 5, 6, 2, 5, 7, 8, 1, 2, 5. So when I do these, I'm going to go stat, I'm going to calculate. Now I'm going to scroll all the way down until I find my 0, my exponential regression. And when I hit calculate, it gives me my a value of 125 and my b value of 5, which is how we got 125 times 5 to the x power. And you'll notice this is a perfect correlation because it is a perfect fit of an exponential line. All right, guys, thank you all so much, and I hope you have a good day. And that bell was in the video. It is not the bell in real life. All right, have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys later.